everyone, welcome to Conversations with me, Njoki, a singer and songwriter, but on this show, a psychologist by profession. Conversations with Njoki is where we get to do three things. We introspect, we inform, and we grow. Introspect, we get to look inward. We hear the topic of the day, we stop and think about our own lives, below the surface, below the I'm okay, I'm good. Think about this topic that we're having. Has it affected me in a way? Maybe it's never come to you like this before. We get to look inward. Inform. We share information. How? Everything we talk about is researched on, is read up on. We get to know what experts have said, and we share that information with you. So we are informing you, even as we get informed on the show. And number three, ultimately, we grow. Maybe you have experienced what we're talking about on the show. Maybe it was beyond your control. What else now? What do? We move forward. Yes, I have experienced things, but I have to make decisions to move forward, to progress for the better. So you have thought about yourself, you've gotten the information, and then now you make decisions to be better. You grow. Quick story for you. I'm in a class. My first introduction to psychology was a counseling course. So I was doing counseling at the time. I was among the youngest people in that class. We were about 2 people of the same age, and everyone else was already in their career. Everyone else was just older. Others were married. Majority of them were parents. And so one day we were talking about our early childhood experiences and how they were affecting us today. And I'm telling you this, in that class, when we talked about that, people were breaking down. Both men, both women, grown-ups, people who are in their 40s, people who are some even in their 50s, talking about my mom, this happened to my mom when we were young. My dad did this to my mom. My dad treated us this way. My mom treated us this way. And they would break down, and some of them would say, it has affected how I am with my husband or with my wife. It has affected how I am as a parent. It has affected how I am making decisions. And it occurred to me on that day that, you know what, the things that we have gone through as young people, they follow us even into adulthood and into the transitions that we keep making. Somehow they become a part of who we are. So this is the topic of today, our early childhood experiences and the effect on who we are today. In the field of psychology, we take a lot of time learning about who we are and how we become who we are, our personalities, beyond the things that we inherited, let's say from our parents, like a temperament. I get angry a lot like my dad or like my mom or like my grandfather. Beyond that, what has affected if I am a confident person? What has affected if I am a timid person? And so if you talk about, let's say, some theorists in psychology, you have people like Sigmund Freud or Erik Erikson. And I'm mentioning those ones because they focused a lot on early childhood experiences right from the age of 0. But there's research that has shown beyond these theorists, who are really just old times, like they're the fathers, of theories. But there's been research that says that even at a level of 0 to 2 years, you could get trust for the world and for the people around you, or mistrust depending on how that child or how you were treated as a child, for example. So for instance, if you were nurtured, if you were taken care of, if your primary caregiver, who would be your mom mainly, because feeding and everything, was caring, then you learn that the world is a safe place. If you were neglected or something like that, then you grow up being just skeptical about the world. Now, of course, we are not just stuck in a mold. We have God and we change over time. And so we're not going to just say, oh my God, I was neglected, but I'll never change. How have your early childhood experiences affected you? If you were not affirmed as a child, do you spend your time trying to convince people that you are good enough? If your parents did not have time for you, and you know what? It doesn't have to be a negative thing. There are people I know who are super confident, and you find that their parents allowed them to experiment with who they are, and so now they're really confident. It's wonderful. So this is not just all dreary. If you had a wonderful experience that has contributed to you just being good, being okay, that's wonderful. But many of us don't stop to think why we are constantly making and breaking in relationships. You can't stay in a relationship. You have commitment issues. Could it be because of where you're coming from? Are you trying to constantly get approval from people? Could it be because of where you're coming from? Have you been affected by your early childhood experiences? And it doesn't have to be abuse. If you look it up on Google or anywhere, scholarly articles, magazine articles, it is agreed generally that we go through things that make us who we are. But the thing is, and this theorist, especially Erik Erikson, he says we have stages in life. And if you don't overcome this stage where you're a teenager or an early child, 8, 10 years old, if you don't overcome the challenges of this stage, they follow you into your next stage. And he goes all the way to the 60s, when you're 60 years old. And so it's really about us being able to handle every stage and the challenges that came there and move forward. So this is to make us stop and think and assess ourselves and then say, you know what, maybe my circumstances were beyond my control. But what do I do now? The decisions I can make. You could see a therapist. As a therapist, I see a therapist. And I love therapy. I'm going to just start to advertise therapy. It's really good for you. You get to think about things that you had not thought before. So you could always see a therapist. Doesn't mean you're crazy. Doesn't mean you're unable as a person and you cannot handle your own business. No, you can see a therapist, a counselor, a professional counselor. Number 2, you could talk to someone older, a mentor you trust, someone who is wiser than you. You could talk to a friend if you feel they're more mature or they're mature enough to understand. The thing is to not just go around like, I'm like that. I think that statement is the worst statement, or one of the worst statements we can make. And it hinders our growth. When you just say, this is how I am. I get angry all the time. This is how I am. I'm commitment phobic, and you own it and you say, this is how I am. When you say that, you give yourself an excuse to not make a decision to be better. So if there's something negative from your early childhood experiences, don't just say, this is how I am. Look at it and try to do something about it. And of course, there's always God, and with God, man, we all know we're just better than we ever could have been. So there's hope. All right? Think about these things. I hope this information has been useful to you and for you. It's not just for you to hear. Wisdom is the application of knowledge. Therefore, you must just hear information and then take it a step further and now do something about it. So I hope it's been helpful. All the best if you're having to make decisions about your life. As always, please give feedback. You guys have been awesome. You do that. You've been doing that. It is welcome. If you have more information that can help someone on this topic, please give that information so that we all get better, we all benefit from it. If you just want to suggest a topic, it is very welcome. Please suggest topics. This is a conversation, so we must talk back to each other, all right? So please talk back. I'm on Facebook. The page is Mercy Njoki. If you've not been on the page, get on that platform. There's a lot that's going on there. Get on the platform. It's really to inspire you and to be a blessing to you. So get there. If you haven't liked it, like it. If you haven't shared, talk about it, all right? Be a blessing to someone else. Mercy Njoki is the page on Facebook. I am on Twitter at Mercy Njoki 254. Please get on that platform as well. That's also a place we can have short conversations, short talks to each other. Please get on that platform and follow me. I am on Instagram, Mercy Njoki 254. Get on there and we can share exciting things that are happening in our lives. So get on there and follow me as well. If you would like to listen to my music, already there's so much there on soundcloud.com/the MN Project. soundcloud.com/the MN Project. You can access my music on that page. It is uplifting, it is encouraging. I promise you, you will not regret that you searched out the music. All right? Thank you so much for listening. Have an amazing week. Kwaheri.